Right guys, how's it going? Welcome to Stamford Bridge. About to head in there on a stadium tour. I've done a fair few stadium tours on the channel now, so make sure you check them out as well. But for now, let's head in there. Yes guys, welcome to Stamford Bridge. I was down in London for a few days and thought it would be a great chance to go on a tour and take you guys along with me. I have been here on an away day before, but I can't wait to see behind the scenes. So let's get in there. Walking up to the stadium, you can see the statue of the Chelsea legend Peter Osgood, along with photos of titles they have won along the years. Before heading into the stadium, I went to the Chelsea Hub, which is where I signed up for my stadium tour, and it's also where they have the Chelsea FC Museum. Initially greeted with international memorabilia from past and present Chelsea players, including Kante, who obviously won the World Cup with France this summer, before heading up a staircase, which was a bit like something out of a horror movie as the lights slowly turned on, but all the walls were surrounded by, again, past and present photos of Chelsea players. They had on show highlights from their 2012 Champions League win over Bayern Munich in Munich. Drogba scored a last-minute equalising goal before they won the final on penalties. They have shirts hung up for every player who was in the starting 11 for the game, and they also have signed boots from every player below them as well. They also have, of course, the Champions League trophy. Now this isn't the actual Champions League trophy, as that needs to be passed on to the next winning team every year, but this was provided to Chelsea by the Champions League. They give every team who wins it their own trophy that they can keep forever and show off like Chelsea are here. They also had a shooting practice area, but the less we talk about that, the better. More memorabilia on show here from their Champions League win, and also the Europa Cup that they won the following year in 2013 against Benfica. Something really cool here, they had a plastic model of what Stamford Bridge used to look like and what Stamford Bridge looks like now. Did you know that Chelsea became the first team in London to wear numbers on the back of their shirts? I didn't know that, so you know it now. On to more trophies. You can imagine Chelsea had plenty of trophies on show. They had all of their FA Cup trophies, Premier League trophies that they have won 5 of in the last 15 years, League Cup trophies, and also a Division 1 winners trophy. One trophy they didn't have on show was the FA Cup they won this year in 2018, but if I wanted to get a picture of that, I had to pay £20. So here's a picture of Gary Cahill holding it instead, as you would have seen out on the front of the stadium. This was a guided tour, so I had someone showing me around the entire time, but they did also hand out these mini iPads, which has become quite a popular thing for stadium tours to do. So we left the hub and made our way into Stamford Bridge. We made our way out into the stands to see the pitch that Chelsea have played on since 1905, and following a lot of development over the years, the stadium currently holds 40,853 seats. Chelsea have announced plans to build a new stadium on the site of the current Stamford Bridge, ready for the 21-22 season, but these plans have been put on hold, so we'll have to see what happens with that. We made our way along pitch side into the press box. So this is where all the journalists, reporters will sit during a game. Every seat is fitted with its own small television to show the actual game footage and replays as well. Next up was the press room, where many Chelsea managers over the years have held press conferences and interviews, along with many players and visiting managers and players, and now me. You might notice the desk is looking a little bit old, and it's not for lack of funds that they haven't replaced it, but actually to hold onto it as a piece of history after having so many fantastic managers and players sit behind it. Leaving the press room, you're immediately faced with the interview boards, which is situated quite perfectly between the press room and the changing rooms. We got our first glimpse of the tunnel and the home changing room, but first we are making our way into the away changing room. As you can imagine, in most away changing rooms it was very standard, no defined colours, the benches weren't particularly comfortable, and there was shirts hanging around on show of players that have played here over the years. Now believe it or not, the changing room was half the size with one shower and one toilet, back around 15 years ago, but Ranieri came in and said this was souring the opponents and making them actually play better. So they improved the size, they gave it more showers and toilets, and it must have worked because they went on an 86 domestic games unbeaten streak between 2004 and 2008. Next up was the home changing room, and I must say it was absolutely massive. They had a separate area for toilets, showers, physio area, they had a tactics board area, they had ice baths, and of course the main dressing area. The whole room was covered by blue with Chelsea shirts hung all the way around the sides. I must say the seats weren't much more comfy than the away section, and on the floor they also had "This is our home, Pride of London." I got a quick shot here of the tactics board where players can meet with the manager before the game, perhaps at half time, to run through the tactics of the day's game, along with ice baths on the other side. And again, it was huge. It was a great home changing room. Every player has their own plaque in the changing room as they always sit in the same seats. This section was regarded as the English section. Pedro and Fabregas sit together as they know each other back from Barcelona. All the goalkeepers sit together, and the Brazilian players all sit together as well. The iPad allowed you to see pictures, statistics and goals from each of the players. As you can imagine, the Hazard shirt was pretty busy. But I was able to get a picture with the Hazard shirt before we left. And now it was time to make our way out of the tunnel onto the pitch. And I must say I've done so many of these stadium tours now, and it's fantastic. There isn't a crowd, but to have that feeling as a player to walk out through that tunnel to a football pitch with everyone cheering must be amazing. And it was no different for me doing it at Stamford Bridge. Fantastic stadium, fantastic facilities, and yeah, it was really enjoyed. I'd suggest anyone gets down there if they haven't before. The home team always sit on the left coming out of the tunnel, and the away team always sit on the right coming out of the tunnel. So as an away fan, I thought I'd have myself a seat in the manager's seat of the away section. As I slowly zoom in, you can see the Chelsea FC sign just below the box where Abramovich sits at the games. With the tour coming to an end, I thought I'd quickly rest my legs sitting down in the subs bench just behind where the managers and staff would sit. This is what it would be like for a player to sit on a match day. Players to your left, staff into the front, match ahead, supporters filling the stadium. On our way out, we passed where I stood in the away section the last time I came to Stamford Bridge before we headed out with a few final shots of the pitch. And that is it, guys. I hope you enjoyed the tour. It was another great stadium tour, so I definitely suggest it to anyone if you ever fancy doing it. And yeah, make sure to check out my other stadium tours on the channel if you haven't already. But thank you for watching, and I'll catch you later.